Welcome back to the deep dive. We got a ton of requests from you guys to really dig into AI and how it's impacting, well, pretty much everything we do these days. So that's exactly what we're doing. We've got articles, research papers, the whole shebang all ready to go.
It's pretty wild, right? I mean, AI has gone from this sci-fi concept to something that's just kind of there, like woven into the fabric of our lives without us even realizing it sometimes.
Totally. It's become so ingrained in our routines. Like think about it. Your morning probably starts with some AI, whether you're asking Alexa about the weather or just letting Spotify pick your tunes for your commute.
Oh, definitely. And these systems, they're not just spitting out random stuff. Spotify, for example, it's keeping tabs on what you listen to, all your likes, dislikes, skips, everything. And it uses that info to create these crazy personalized recommendations. It's like having, I don't know, a super intuitive DJ in your pocket.
Yep. That's so true. And it almost feels like it can predict what you'll want to hear next, which is both cool and a little creepy sometimes. But it's not just music, right? I mean, Netflix, Amazon, they're all doing the same thing with their recommendations.
Absolutely. They use these seriously complex algorithms to figure out what you might like based on what you've watched or bought before. And they even factor in things like the time of day, where you are, even maybe your mood if they can get a read on it.
So it's really about like catering to our individual needs and desires. That's kind of fascinating.
Yeah, that's the whole point. And, this personalized aspect of AI, it's just getting started. I mean, think about the potential in healthcare and education.
Right. One of the articles we got actually talked about IBM Watson being used in healthcare. It helps doctors diagnose patients and come up with treatment plans. It's kind of mind-blowing, actually. Watson can go through tons of medical data, like research papers and patient records, to help doctors make better decisions.
Yeah, the amount of information it can process is insane, like way beyond what any human could do. And by going through all that data, it can see patterns and things that maybe a doctor wouldn't immediately pick up on. Could lead to quicker and more accurate diagnoses.
It's like having, I don't know, a second opinion from the world's smartest doctor right there on your computer.
Pretty much. It's a powerful tool for sure. And we're seeing similar stuff happening in education. Platforms like Duolingo and Khan Academy, they're using AI to personalize the way people learn. Imagine learning a language and the lessons actually adapt to how fast you're picking it up, focus on the grammar you're struggling with.
It's like having a personal tutor who knows exactly what you need.
Exactly. And it's not just about speed, it's about how you learn best. Some people are visual learners, some people need to hear things, some got to do it themselves to get it. AI can figure that out and give you the information in the way that works for you.
That's so cool. So, okay, from helping us learn to maybe like revolutionizing healthcare, AI is making its way into some pretty big areas. What about stuff like transportation? We were talking about self-driving cars earlier, and those are, well, kind of a big deal right now.
Oh, for sure. Autonomous vehicles, those are like the poster child for how AI is changing transportation. Companies like Tesla, Waymo, they're all over it. They're using AI to develop cars that can, drive themselves, navigate traffic, avoid obstacles, all that.
Yeah, it sounds super futuristic, but I got to be honest, I'm a little, I don't know, uneasy about a car driving itself. How does that even work?
So, self-driving cars, they use a bunch of sensors and cameras and really complex algorithms to see what's going on around them. They're constantly gathering data like the distance to other cars, where the lanes are, if there are pedestrians around, all of that. And then all that data gets fed into this powerful computer system, and the AI uses that to make decisions about steering, speeding up, braking, the whole driving thing.
It's like the car has its own brain, constantly thinking and making choices. That's kind of amazing, but also a little scary, right? We're putting a lot of trust in these systems.
That's a really good point. There are definitely big questions about safety, who's responsible if something goes wrong, how much control humans should have. It's a complicated issue that, well, we'll need to figure out as these cars become more common.
It's definitely a lot to think about. I mean, AI seems to have this potential to be like incredibly helpful and potentially disruptive at the same time. Okay, moving on from transportation, what other industries are seeing big changes because of AI?
Well, think about the workplace. AI is changing that in a big way. It's taking over tasks, it's helping people do their jobs better, and it's even creating totally new jobs.
Wow, that's interesting. It's like AI is not just a tool, it's becoming like a, I don't know, coworker. Can you give us some specific examples?
Definitely. Think about all those boring, repetitive tasks we do every day, email, data entry, scheduling, that kind of stuff. AI tools like Zapier and Microsoft Power Automate, they can automate a lot of those processes, which frees up time for us to do more, I don't know, creative, strategic work.
It's like having I don't know, a digital assistant to take care of all the mundane stuff so we can focus on the bigger picture.
Exactly. And it's not just about automation. AI is also becoming a really powerful tool for creating content. Platforms like ChatGPT can help writers come up with ideas, even write whole articles or stories. Canva, it uses AI to suggest design elements and layouts, so anyone can create really visually appealing stuff. And for video editors, Runway ML offers AI-powered tools for editing, animation, special effects, all that.
It's like having this creative partner who can help you brainstorm, refine your ideas, bring your vision to life. It's not just human versus machine anymore. It's more like human and machine working together to make something even better.
Exactly. And this whole collaboration thing, it's even happening in art itself. We've got AI art generators like DL that can create these stunning images just from you typing in a description. And for musicians, there are tools like Amper Music that can compose original scores. I mean, the possibilities are endless.
It's like having an AI orchestra at your command. You can create a symphony, a film score, even a personalized jingle. And it's not just about creating new types of art. AI can also make traditional art forms even better, giving artists new tools and perspectives.
Totally. Imagine like collaborating with an AI to compose a symphony or paint a surreal landscape. The possibilities are, well, pretty much endless.
This is seriously blowing my mind. Okay, we've got to take a quick break, but when we come back, we're going to keep diving deeper into the world of AI, exploring its impact on accessibility, the future of work, and even some of the ethical considerations we need to think about. Stick around. Okay, so before the break, we were talking about how AI can partner with humans to do some pretty amazing things, especially in the creative realm. But one of the articles you sent really got me thinking about AI's role in assistive technologies, and honestly, it's something I hadn't really considered before.
Yeah, it's incredible how AI is being used to help people with disabilities, like really making a difference in their lives.
For example, there was this thing called Be My Eyes that just, I don't know, blew my mind.
Oh, yeah, Be My Eyes is a great example. It's an app that connects people who are visually impaired with sighted volunteers through video chat. And the AI, what it does is analyze the video and describe what the user is seeing in real time. So it helps them navigate and do, everyday stuff that might be challenging otherwise.
It's like having a pair of eyes helping you through the world, right? That's just, wow. Are there other examples of AI being used like that?
Oh, tons. I mean, we're seeing AI-powered screen readers that let visually impaired people access digital content, speech-to-text tools that can help people who have trouble typing, and even AI-controlled prosthetics that respond to the user's movements. It's really amazing how precise they can be.
So it's like AI is helping bridge the gap between, ability and disability, making the world more inclusive for everyone.
Exactly. It has the potential to level the playing field in a lot of ways.
Okay, so we've talked about AI in healthcare, education, transportation, and even how it can help people with disabilities. But let's switch gears a bit and talk about something that affects all of us, which is the future of work. We touched on AI automating tasks earlier, but what does that really mean for jobs, in the long run?
Yeah, that's a big question. And honestly, it's one that people have a lot of different opinions on. Some experts think AI will create more jobs than it eliminates, while others are worried about, widespread job losses as machines get better at doing things humans used to do.
Right, it's a valid concern.
Yeah.
So what kinds of jobs are like most at risk of being automated?
Jobs that involve a lot of repetition, like data processing or anything that follows a really predictable pattern, those are the ones that are most vulnerable. We're already seeing AI being used in manufacturing to run robots, in customer service to answer basic questions, even in finance to analyze markets and make investment decisions.
So it's not just like factory jobs that are at risk. White collar jobs are being impacted too.
Oh, absolutely. I think the big takeaway here is that the way we work is changing, and we need to be ready to adapt. That means learning new skills throughout our lives, being open to different career paths that maybe didn't even exist before.
So it's not necessarily about humans versus machines, but more about humans and machines, working together in new ways.
Exactly. The companies and individuals who figure out how to use AI to their advantage, those are the ones who are going to thrive.
You mentioned lifelong learning. What are some ways people can, I don't know, stay ahead of the curve and get ready for this future of work where AI is such a big part of it?
Well, luckily, there are tons of resources out there. Online platforms like Coursera and Udemy, they offer courses on everything from the basics of AI to really advanced stuff like machine learning. And there are so many books, articles, podcasts, you name it. There's no shortage of ways to learn about AI.
So it's really about being proactive, right?
Hmm.
Taking charge of your own learning and development.
Totally. The future belongs to those who are willing to learn new things, adapt, and evolve along with technology.
Okay, so we've talked about AI in healthcare, education, transportation, and even the future of work. But how about the bigger picture? How is AI changing society as a whole?
That's a great question. I think one of the most significant impacts is on how we get information. Think about it. We use Google to find answers, we rely on social media to stay connected and see what's happening in the world, and we stream movies and music on demand. And all of that, it's driven by AI algorithms.
I hadn't really thought about it that way, but it's true. AI is kind of shaping our digital world, deciding what information we see and what we don't.
Yeah, it's filtering this massive amount of information and giving us what it thinks is most relevant, which can be super helpful, don't get me wrong, but it also raises some concerns. Like, what about those filter bubbles and echo chambers everyone's talking about? Could AI be trapping us in our own little worlds, reinforcing our biases without us even realizing it?
It's like a double-edged sword, right? AI can help us navigate this overwhelming amount of information, but it could also be limiting our exposure to different perspectives.
Exactly. It's super important to be aware of how these algorithms work and to actively seek out different sources of information. We can't just passively accept what's being fed to us. We got to be critical thinkers and engage with different viewpoints.
So it's not just about knowing how to use technology. It's about having the skills to evaluate information in a world where AI is playing such a big role.
Exactly. We need to be savvy about how we consume information, not just passively taking it in.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground here, from the everyday uses of AI to its impact on society as a whole. But before we wrap up this deep dive, I wanted to circle back to something you said earlier about AI as a creative partner. Can you talk a little more about that?
Oh, yeah. One of the most exciting things about AI is its potential to help humans be even more creative. We're seeing it being used in such cool ways to help artists, musicians, writers, designers, you name it.
You mentioned AI art generators like DALL-E before. How do those things even work?
So DALI, it's this super powerful AI system that can create images just from a text description. It's been trained on a huge data set of images and text, and it uses that knowledge to generate totally new images based on what you tell it to do.
So, like, I could type in something like a cat riding a unicorn on a rainbow, and DALL-E would actually create a picture of that.
Yep. It's pretty mind-blowing. And the images it makes are getting more and more realistic all the time. It's not just a gimmick. AI is becoming a legitimate tool for artistic expression.
Wow, that's amazing. So it's not just AI creating art on its own. It's about AI and humans teaming up to create things we never even imagined before.
Exactly. And we're seeing this in music too. There are AI tools that can help musicians compose melodies, harmonize vocals, even create entire arrangements.
It's like having this virtual bandmate or songwriting partner who can bring totally new ideas to the table.
Yeah. And the coolest part is that these tools are becoming more and more accessible, so more people than ever can tap into the power of AI for their own creative projects.
So it's like democratizing art, giving everyone the chance to express themselves creatively, even if they don't have, tons of technical skills.
Exactly. It's really an exciting time to be creative, with AI opening up all these new possibilities and pushing the limits of what we can imagine.
It's mind-blowing how AI can boost our creative side.
Yeah.
Like, I was reading about an AI system that can personalize museum tours. That just
Yeah.
seems, I don't know, so cool.
Oh, yeah. Imagine walking through a museum and the AI picks out exactly the artwork you'd find most interesting. It's like having your own art historian by your side.
Right, making the whole experience way more engaging. And I bet that could apply to other kinds of entertainment too, like concerts or movies.
Absolutely. Imagine a concert where the music adapts to how the audience is reacting, or a movie where the story changes based on your choices. AI could make entertainment way more immersive.
Yeah, that's pretty wild to think about. But throughout this whole deep dive, I keep coming back to this question of, well, the risks of AI. I mean, it's powerful stuff.
Right, and it's important to be realistic about the potential downsides. One of the biggest concerns is job displacement, something we talked about a bit earlier. As AI gets smarter, there's a real chance it could automate jobs that humans are doing now.
Yeah, and it's not just like, robots replacing factory workers. I read about AI being used in law and finance to do things that, well, highly skilled professionals used to do.
Oh, yeah, for sure. AI can analyze legal documents, find patterns in financial data, even write reports and presentations. It definitely raises questions about what skills people will need to have to be successful in the future.
So it's not just about learning to code. It's about
Oh,
developing skills that AI can't really replicate, like creativity, problem solving, thinking outside the box.
exactly. It's about those uniquely human skills, finding ways to work with AI, not against it.
Another thing that worries me is, I don't know, the possibility of AI being used for bad stuff. Like I've read about
Yeah.
deep fakes, spreading misinformation, even autonomous weapon systems. That's scary stuff.
Yeah, those are legitimate concerns. It's crucial that we figure out ways to make sure AI is used ethically,
Hmm?
for the benefit of humanity. We need to have open discussions about the risks and figure out how to minimize them.
So it's not just about the technology itself. It's about making sure we're using it for good with the right values and principles.
Right. AI should be a tool to help us, not hurt us. We need to be really thoughtful about how we design and use these systems, always considering the impact on people and society as a whole.
Okay, so AI has the potential to do amazing things, but there are definitely challenges we need to address. So what can we do? How do we make sure AI is used to make the world better?
I think one of the most important things is education. The more people understand about AI, how it works, what it can and can't do, the better. Then we can make informed decisions about its development.
So it's about everyone becoming more AI literate, not just the tech experts.
Yeah. Knowing about AI should be as common as knowing how to read and write. We should all be empowered to understand this technology because it's going to impact all of us.
And it's not just about the technical stuff, right? It's also about critical thinking, being aware of ethical issues, having a sense of responsibility when it comes to AI.
Absolutely. We have to think critically about things like bias in AI systems, the ethical implications, and the importance of humans being involved in its development.
It's a complex issue, but one we can't ignore.
Yeah.
Okay, as we wrap up this deep dive into AI, what's the one thing you want our listeners to take away from this conversation?
AI is a powerful tool, there's no doubt about that. It can do incredible things to benefit humanity, but there are also risks. It's up to all of us to shape the future of AI and make sure it's used for good. We need to stay informed, talk about these issues, and promote responsible development. That's how we'll make sure AI helps create a better world for everyone.
I love that. Well said. So that's it for our deep dive into the world of AI. Thank you so much for joining us on this journey. It's been amazing.
It's been my pleasure. And remember, the story of AI is still being written. We all have a part to play in shaping how it unfolds.
That's so true. Keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep. We'll catch you in the next episode.